Hi everyone, today we'll be taking a look at a wireless microphone system from Comica called the BoomX-D. And this is a dual 2.4 gigahertz wireless digital microphone system where you have two transmitters with their own individual microphones and or lavalier mic transmitting into a single receiver that you plug into your camera. Now, full disclosure, Comica did send this system out to me for free in exchange for a review. And also, if there's any affiliate links below, I am an Amazon associate and I will earn from qualifying purchases. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Now for this entire video, I will be using only this microphone system, so you'll be able to hear it in different environments. Now right now we're inside my studio, and what you're hearing now is coming straight through the camera into my software where I'm recording. Now any audio recording software does have default settings for reducing noise, compression, and the noise gate. And I have all of those things set right now, but I'm going to go ahead and turn them off so you can hear how this microphone sounds raw. Now you're hearing the raw audio from this microphone system without any noise filters or compression or noise gates, and this is how it sounds. So I'm going to stay silent for just a second so you can hear the noise floor. And it's not bad. You hear a little bit of hiss, but I have to do that with all of my microphone systems, particularly the wireless ones, whether it's my Zoom H1N, which is plugged into the computer, or my Rode Wireless Go, or even my Harmonic Blink system. I have a lot of different systems, and all of them require some basic noise reduction, which is in every audio software, streaming software, video editing software, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, etc. So let me turn those back on real quick so you can hear how it sounds. Now we're back to the standard settings that I use on all of my microphone systems for noise suppression, compression, and the noise gate, all set to default settings in my OBS software. But again, these are settings that you can find in Adobe Premiere and DaVinci Resolve and just about any kind of audio program like Audacity, etc. You don't have to do much to really get good sound out of this. And speaking of sound, the other thing is I noticed that this microphone system reproduces my voice in a more natural way. Because when I use my, say, Rode Wireless Go mic or my Harmonic or even my H1N, those microphone systems tend to add a little bit of bass to my voice to make it sound a little more rich. Now some people really like that, but me personally, I actually like the sound coming out of this microphone system better than those. Now, a lot of times you can adjust the tone of your voice through an equalizer that you, again, can find in just about any software. And that's something you can do with this. And I was able to reproduce a very similar tone to what I get out of my Rode mic and my H1N. But again, I prefer the more crisp, clear sound that I'm getting from this microphone system with my voice. Now let's talk about some of the basic features of this system. As I mentioned before, you get two transmitters, and each transmitter has its own microphone built in, but it also has the 3.5 millimeter jack. And what's nice is they've also included two lavalier mics, so you can plug in a lav mic into each of the transmitters. And the lav mic is good quality. It also has a little locking pin in here so that when you plug it in, it's not easy to pull out. And there's also a mute button on each of the transmitters. So if the person speaking wants to temporarily mute their microphone, they can do so by just clicking this button and it'll mute. Now let's just take a little closer look at the transmitter. As you can see on the display that it does have a nice level meter indicator, so I can see that it is getting sound and receiving sound through the lav and or through the built-in microphone, which is right here on top. And it also tells me that we're on channel A and that we have the battery level meter, and then we have a little chain link there which tells me that it is paired with the receiver, and then we have the Wi-Fi signal and the microphone icon just to let us know that it is transmitting and the microphone is on. Now on the side here we have the mute button that I talked about earlier, and then there's a pairing button if you need it. I've never had to use the pair button because it's already paired at the factory, but if you are having trouble pairing, I guess you would push that to try to make it connect. And then on the other side here, we have a USB-C port, which allows you to charge the internal battery, and the batteries are supposed to last about 5 hours. I've used these mics for 3 hours continuously. In fact, actually, this is the battery life indicator left after 3 hours of use. So I haven't even charged this since I last used this microphone system. And what's really nice though is that when you plug in the USB-C to charge the battery, you don't have to turn the microphone system off. It'll still continue to work even while it's charging. So when you have a power bank attached to this, you can use them basically indefinitely, unlimited runtime. But I found that 3-4 hours is really more than enough for most microphones or most jobs, at least in my case. Now looking at the receiver, you can see that it has two displays, one for channel A and one for channel B for each of the individual transmitters, and they have their own individual level meters. And you can also see that there's a mono stereo indicator, which we can switch between, and of course another battery indicator. And if I want to switch from mono to stereo, I just simply click the buttons on the side, like so, and now it's in stereo mode. We'll go back to mono mode, and I'll talk about what that means exactly in a moment. And then on the side here, we have the switches, right? We have the mono, stereo, and power modes, and then we have the levels adjustments. So you can adjust the volume levels of the individual transmitters. So if I click this, you can see I'm changing the level of transmitter A, and then I can change the level of transmitter B, whatever level I need here. I'm going to put them both back to 12. And then on this side, we have the USB-C port. Again, you can charge the battery through the USB-C port, and or you can run the receiver through the USB-C port even if the battery's completely dead. Now if we look at the top here, we have the microphone input, or I'm sorry, the output for the microphone system, and then right next to it we also have the headphone jack. So you can monitor the audio in real time with a pair of headphones. So if your camera has a microphone jack but it doesn't have a headphone jack, adding this microphone system will allow you to have a headphone jack for monitoring. All right, so let's just do a quick demonstration. As you can see, I have channel A at 12 decibels and channel B at 3 decibels. And you can see that channel B is not clipping at all, even though I have both microphones here right up next to my mouth. All right, so let's just do a quick demonstration. As you can see, I have channel A at 12 decibels and channel B at 3 decibels. And you can see that channel B is not clipping at all, even though I have both microphones here right up next to my mouth. All right, now let's try this microphone in different environments. So I'm going to take you outside to my backyard, and also I'm going to share with you some clips from a vlog that I did using this microphone system. I always like to test these microphone systems in my backyard because there's always a lot of ambient noise here. There's a major highway just right behind my tree line. There's also a major road right in front of my house behind the camera. And then about a mile away, there's an airport, or an Air Force base actually, where there's jets and helicopters always flying over. And never mind my neighbor who's always cutting pipes and things like that and making all kinds of saw noise. But in any case, I want you to see the difference between using an external microphone system versus using the camera's internal mics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this external microphone, and it's wireless, from the camera. And now we're on the camera's internal microphone system. And you can see what a big difference it makes between using the camera's internal microphone system versus an external microphone system. Because the main thing to improving audio in your video is proximity of the microphone to the speaker. Because you'll see as I walk up closer to the camera, the audio improves quite a bit. Now I'm going to stand right up to the camera, and now the audio should be very close, but still not quite as good as using an external microphone system. So let me plug it back in while I'm up here. And there you have it. And if I didn't mention it, I'm standing roughly about 2 meters away from the camera at about a 25mm focal length. And now what I want to do is I just want to do a simple range test for this microphone system. And there's going to be two parts to it. One is I'm going to be walking away from the camera, facing away from the camera, so my body's going to be acting as blocking the signal potentially. and then I'm going to walk back towards the camera facing forward, but then around this tree, and see if this tree blocks the signal in any way. So just pay attention to the quality of the sound, if there's any static, or if the signal drops. We'll find out together. So again, like I said, I'm just going to walk to the back of my fence line here, which is roughly, I'd say, about 15 meters total to the back of the fence line. Hopefully you can still see me. But here we go. So now I'm at the back of the fence line. I'm going to turn around, and with any luck, the microphone system still is able to keep the signal and not drop out or run into any static. And as I'm walking back towards the camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around this tree, because this is a pretty substantial oak tree here, and see if the signal breaks up or drops out as I go around this tree. So how did it do? All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the transmitter's lavalier microphone versus the built-in microphone that comes with it. So I'm just going to simply disconnect the lavalier mic, and I think what I'll do is I'll just put it right here in my pocket. And like I was saying, you know, the quality of the sound is always dependent upon the proximity of the microphone to the speaker's voice. So this is just a little bit further away from my mouth than the lavalier mic, but the quality still should be pretty decent. But this is how this sounds using the microphones, or the transmitter's internal microphone. And I'm just going to walk around the tree just so we can see how this sounds, if it picks up any rustling noise or anything while it's in my shirt pocket. Because, you know, a lot of times speakers like myself, we like to talk with our hands and jibber jabber about all kinds of things, and the microphone's going to be rustling inside the shirt. So this microphone, you know, this will be a test of how well the microphone resists that kind of rustling sound, and hopefully it does a good job. You tell me. This system comes with 2 transmitters, or 2 microphones, transmitting into a single receiver into the camera. So this allows you to interview people, or if you have 2 talents talking at the same time, they can each have their own microphone for really good audio quality. So if I were interviewing someone, what I could do is just simply turn this one on, and it automatically pairs. And I'll confirm that all I need to do is just kind of tap, and I can see the level meters jumping on the camera. Then I'll just tap this one, and I can see that the level meters are jumping on the when I tap the lavalier mic. So if I were interviewing someone, I could just hold the microphone out like this while I'm talking to them, while at the same time not having to worry about the sound quality of my voice, like going back and forth like this. But see how this sounds when it's closer to my mouth? The sound quality should be much improved, right? And then as I move it away, the sound quality is going to kind of equalize with the 2 microphones on at the same time. Now, one last thing I want to mention while I'm outside is the visibility of the display. The display automatically dims, and when it automatically dims, it is very hard to see in the daylight like this in bright sun. But once you tap one of the buttons, the display brightens up nicely, and you can see it very clearly in relatively bright sunlight. I mean, if I was in direct sun, yeah, it's hard to see, right? But looking at it like this, or if I just put my hand over, I can easily read the display, no problem. One of my photo jobs. It's should be relatively easy commercial property, and you know, I've changed my workflow a little bit since I made my last one. Damn vlogging camera's in the shot, so I'll have to cut that out. And then just a little trick so I don't have to keep taking the key in and out. I just put a little card in here between the door to keep it locked or unlocked. I think that's a pretty good sample of how this microphone sounds in different environments, right? Here in my studio, or outside of my noisy backyard, or driving in a car, or, you know, in a very echoey room, or even just walking around outside. I think the sound quality was excellent in all those scenarios, as good as can be expected. And then also, you know, it has excellent battery life, and it has very good range, you know, up to 50 feet, no problem. I tested just fine, didn't drop out, no static. So overall, it's an excellent system. So if I had to give it one con, it would be actually how it mounts onto the camera. Now, as I said before, it mounts very easily just right into the hot shoe. So that's a big pro, right? Really like that. But once it's mounted onto the camera, you're not really able to use the EVF anymore because I can't get my eye up to it. I mean, I can still see through the EVF here, but I can't get my eye close enough because this sticks out with the even with the L mount on the microphone jack. So if you're going to be the cameraman, you're going to have to use probably the live view when you're filming. And normally you'll be on a tripod anyway, but I just want to let you know that this is really the only con that I ran into when I was using this microphone system. So my final verdict on this product is I can highly recommend it. I mean, it has excellent sound quality, excellent range and battery life. It's small, compact, lightweight, has lots of nice features. And I think at this price point, it's a tremendous value. So I hope you found this review helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. But either way, hopefully we'll see you again soon.